But if you start to think that it's possible to actually look like that, or that you should look like that, it's a slippery slope, a downward spiral. And so what happens is when you enter a bodybuilding competition, or albeit bikini, either's competitions, you see yourself at your best, shredded with tan, oil, stage lighting, doing your best in a $1,000 bathing suit. And so after the show's over and you go back to regular eating, you're thinking, I don't look like that anymore. And people start commenting, where's your abs? That guy has a dad bod. They even accused Chris Bumstead of having a dad bod. Do you remember that? And so what hope do we have? People, humans, males, females, circles, everyone. What hope do we have when we're trying to live up to other people's expectations? And so, for example, if I stand up like this, I have to flex my stomach, or what would people say? If I stand up without flexing, oh, it's not so impressive. Why do you have a belly? And so when you take photos, you take 10, you post the best one. You're not showing your worst photos. And so anytime a guy has his shirt off, he's got to be flexing harder than last time. Andoni is 21 years of age. Imagine the pressure to always look perfect for social media. And when you see him in person, he doesn't look all that impressive. And so is it possible he's natural? I don't know. Maybe he cycles on, maybe he cycles off. And when I took a photo with him, let's zoom in on the photo. Let's see what we can see. Does he look impressive? Notice I'm standing in front of him. Let us compare biceps. Notice you can see mine. Is there anything he's wearing covering his own biceps? And so perhaps he was scared, nervous, taking a photo standing next to his other famous young LA athletes. And so he places his pants covering the biceps on both sides. Do you notice that? He just happens to be walking around the convention wearing pants on his shoulders, covering up his arms. Perhaps he was off cycle. Normally when people abuse performance-enhancing drugs, they take it for a short period of time, perhaps it's 3 or 4 months, and they take a break. And during that break, they lose a lot of muscle. Perhaps he's not bulk, he's soft, he's not as lean. Is it possible that he knows that he's not quite at his best, that perhaps he's off cycle, perhaps he's not taking SARMs, whatever? And so although exquisite, still a specimen of a man, a Chad. Perhaps he's not living up to the own pressures he's put on himself. And so is it possible he feels maybe just a little bit inadequate in comparison to those other young athletes? Perhaps some of them several years younger than him, perhaps leaner than him. And so in comparison, he wants to cover himself up. For the most part, when guys are very proud of their physiques, when they look good, they're walking around in tank tops, they're showing off their muscles, they're impressed, they're proud. But notice, oftentimes men, they go to the gym, they're wearing pump covers, sometimes 2 or 3 layers, and they will never take it off unless they have that major pump, because they don't want to show people what they look like when they're just regular walking around with no pump whatsoever. And so in comparison to the other athletes, look at the size of this guy. He must be well over 6 feet tall, massive man, only 21 years of age. And if he is in fact natural, this is ridiculous. It's ultra impressive. And so if he is natural and he's still 21, we